Welcome to the first ever podcast of Investors Unite. This is something that Skyler and I have been talking about for a little bit and felt like we wanted to bring this to you guys, and you guys may not even know who we are. So this episode is going to be like a rundown of who we are, how we met.
Just a brief overview. So many of you guys probably would know Stefanie over myself. I have not really revealed my face to the camera as much as she has, which is something that needs to be flipped around a little bit. I need to start catching up to her social media presence. So it's kind of why we're here, and I'd like to allow me to introduce myself.
Go for it.
I am Skyler, and
this is Stefanie. But no, let's
and we are
Investors Unite.
Oh, Stefanie buys houses.
Stefanie buys. So look, guys, we also have a real estate investing company called Stefanie Buys Houses, where we wholesale. We do creative financing deals, novations, which we'll talk about. But I feel like in this episode, you guys are probably wondering who are we, how we got together for business and stuff, and partnered up with everything like that. So kind of starting from the jump, I guess it kind of starts when we were in elementary school. I don't know.
We were young. I mean, we've always gone to the same school together, and we were in the same grade, so we've always grown up together. I can't specifically point out a point in time where I think we had our first class together.
Yeah,
I was trying to think of that actually before this.
I can't remember.
I don't know.
Oh,
either.
Maybe Miss Souls.
No, Miss Perez. Did you have Miss Perez?
I didn't have Perez.
No, you didn't?
No.
Miss Perez, if you're watching, hello.
What's up?
Nah, Miss Souls was, that was third grade.
Yeah.
We definitely did have that class together. So that's kind of where, the partnership began. So at that point, we were just, fully friends, school acquaintances, whatever you want to call it. And throughout the years, me and Stefanie obviously learned to know each other, grew up together, watched each other evolve into the people that we are today. It's funny how we actually got involved into real estate, though, because our first job, we actually worked at the same place.
Trampoline Park. Shout out to Get Air Trampoline Park. It was on Union Deposit out in Harrisburg, PA, but now it's on Jonestown Road.
New location, come check it out.
Yeah.
They're not a sponsor or anything, but
yeah, we need that sponsorship. But
come on, Brad, where you at?
Yeah, that's where we met. Well, I mean, not where we met, but where we got our first. That was my first job. That was his first job.
We were 16 at the time.
Yeah, and I remember on our mics, we would talk about real estate and stuff, $1 million listing, and yeah, I didn't know I wanted to be a real estate agent, and you didn't. I didn't know what you knew.
So alright, if we're gonna go into detail about myself a little bit. So I did know at a fairly young age that this is something that I wanted to get involved with. I just didn't know the exact route that I wanted to go. So it all started actually with architecture. That was one of the first things that I got interested in. Honestly, I was 6th grade, I believe, was my main point for architecture.
Yeah.
I looked up jobs that pay well on the internet one day. I was in my room as a kid with my sister, and I saw architecture was on there. I thought it was something to be pretty cool to check out. So yeah, I got a little bit into it. I didn't dive deep or anything, but in class every day I would actually just be in there drawing out different houses, different floor plans that you could do, kind of designing what I wanted to be my dream house.
You're ready to develop.
That was I was young at that time, and I was supposed to be learning math in that class, but I decided to draw houses almost every monetize every day. And then so I grew out of that stage a little bit. And my next one was carpentry, actually, just because my grandpa,
and I don't even know this.
Yeah, this is all brand new to Stefanie. I never really told her about where I started at all. But yeah, my grandpa in the basement, he used to have a wood shop. Mm-hmm. So we would go down there together and just make different kinds of things, like birdhouses. We made tables, chairs, this one chest. It was fascinating to me, just the kind of different designs you can do, just the way you can make things work together in unison. So that's where I was like, well, if I can learn architecture and kind of design the house, and then if I learn carpentry, I'll be able to build it myself.
Right.
So I've always ever since I was a young kid, like I've always had these visions. I'm sure many of you have, of just living in this giant mansion when you're older. You know, wanting to just live the high life. And so that's kind of where I started with that. I was like, architecture, as I've explained, a cool route to go down. Carpentry, because I was already somewhat involved, just doing it with my grandpa. Nothing serious, all for fun. I was still a young kid at this time. And yeah, so I remember the one time I went to Marshall's actually as a kid, and I bought like these little thin pieces of wood. I got like 30 of them. They're probably about a foot long by like half a foot wide.
Yeah.
And I just took them home, and it was the most terrible thing. I was trying to build a model home, just like a miniature model home.
What?
Yeah. So I took like this big saw that used to like chop down Christmas trees, and I was like trying to get like these little nicks in the wood and like design the whole thing.
Yeah.
Epic fail. Never came out good. I don't think I ever even like tried to put it together. I was just like, you know what? I give up. I'm done with this. So yeah, I mean, that obviously was not the most professional way to go about it, but it was just something I wanted to do because I was interested in. And then from there, as Stefanie kind of mentioned, I got into $1 Million Listings, just the show.
That's the best show out there. Best real estate agent show.
It's a great show.
Yeah.
I believe when I first started, I was watching $1 Million Listings Los Angeles with Josh Altman, Josh Flagg, that one guy Madison.
Do you like New York better or Los Angeles better?
So in the beginning, I think I like Los Angeles better actually.
Yeah.
I like Ryan Serhant a lot.
I like Frederick.
And Frederick. Yes.
Frederick's probably my favorite.
Frederick is so cool.
Just his like personality and everything is a vibe.
He's a great guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I started out with Los Angeles, so that's kind of my favorite. It's a little biased, but you know. So yeah, I really got into that show, and then from there I was like, oh, I can see. It shows you like their commissions and the percentages and everything within the show. So I was like, you can make that kind of money just getting a house and selling it for somebody, like that's.
And it's insane because it's like 6-figure commissions, over 6 figures they're making.
Right.
And, you know, I would see the same thing. Like, if they're making that money, like
I want a piece of that pie.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's something I got really interested in. I realized that being an agent actually wasn't like the person who made a majority of the money. I realized it's actually like the broker who does it. So I went through, did a little bit of research on how to become a broker, and correct me if I'm wrong, you are an agent. I believe you have to have your agent's license for at least 2 years before you can become a broker.
I believe so, yeah.
And then hire out agents below you. So that was like something I was really interested in. I mean, me and Stefanie talked about this a long time. Even when I was even when we were working at Get Air, like that's something that we both wanted to do. We were both interested in. And I had my mom's good friend in this area. She's a very high-end real estate agent. She lists $1 million homes all the time. So for this one project in, I believe it was 11th grade, we had to go find someone who did the career that we wanted, and we had to have like a sit-down interview with them that lasted maybe 30 minutes. Okay. It was like decently long, so I spent like a whole week writing out this plan and like the questions to ask her and everything. Yeah. Her name's Danica, by the way. But so yeah, we went to one of these houses she had listed. She works with new construction.
Oh, she took you out to the house?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and she works with like strictly new construction. So like all the new model homes and everything. So she took us to the model home. Yeah. And it's the one actually right behind the Costco over there. That nice neighborhood.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it was over there. And so I had a whole sit-down interview with her, and it went great. She answered all my questions, and it kind of pushed me just a little bit more towards that side of real estate where I was like, okay, this is definitely something that I would want to do. Like, I'm definitely interested in. And so I went, and my parents weren't completely for it in the beginning.
What were they saying? Like,
so, yeah, my mom, my dad's kind of out of the picture. We'll talk about that maybe another time. But my mom, she didn't have the best. I don't know what to say. Like,
because it's like a commission-based business. Is that what her point of view was, or?
Her point of view was honestly, she didn't go to school and she didn't become successful off that. So I think that's where her mindset was. Well, in order to become successful, you have to go to school.
the traditional lifestyle. Go to high school, go to college.
Right. I mean, anyone in that era, like, that's pretty much their mindset. Not everyone, but like 90% of the population. So that's where she was coming from. And I was like, Mom, like, I understand. Like, if that's something you really do want me to do, full respect to my mother. She's a great woman. So I was like, I'm willing to go give it a try. And I knew with real estate, like, there's a lot of numbers involved. Like, that's honestly one of the main points. Yeah. And thankfully, I'm really good with math. Like, that was one of my favorite subjects in school growing up.
Yeah. You don't have to be good with math
to be in real estate, but yeah, don't take that wrong.
As long as you know how to calculate your commission, you're good.
That's all that matters at the end of the day. And building good rapport.
Exactly.
But yeah, so I was like, I guess I can kind of look at college as a plan B. So my mom does want me to go. I have friends who are going, and at the time I still did play soccer, so I was able to get a soccer scholarship.
And, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Academic scholarship and soccer scholarship. It was a full ride.
That's crazy.
Didn't have to pay a dime. So it was really nice. But yeah, as I was there, I broke my ankle, so I didn't play soccer. That was kind of out the picture. Made me a little bit miserable being there, watching my friends be able to go and play on the team and everything. Mm-hmm. In classes, like my major was business finance with a minor of business marketing. Okay. So for the first whole semester, I went to every class, and I actually got like decently good grades. It was difficult. I'm sure as many of you who are in college understand. Yeah. It can be hard. It's definitely a completely different world than high school, which I was not really prepared for with the thought process of I'm not going to college. But mom turned the tables, and that's kind of how we ended up there. So I was going about it, just living the typical college life, partying, having fun. I can't say I was strictly on path. First semester I was. Second semester was when I started to really get back into real estate. I was like, this is what I want to do. I was like, I don't know why the hell.
Yeah. Like, what do you think was that like switch?
My parents went into pre-foreclosure.
No way.
Yeah, so they had their water shut off at the house for 9 months. We had no water. And then, they just couldn't pay the bills anymore. Stepdad got laid off. Mom got laid off. They're just door dashing for a living. With 5 kids, I am the oldest of 5, by the way. And it's definitely difficult. It's not something I wish anyone to go through. And, so yeah, it was like...
It pushed you. That
it did.
Became your
so
why,
it was like,
kind of.
Well, here's a property that my parents need gone. Like, this is something that they're not able to afford. And thankfully, with being interested in real estate investing, I had learned a little bit over the years, studying it more and more as I was in college, like I was saying. So I was like, what if I just wholesale this property? So I actually go through. I get under a contract with my parents. I don't know if there's any kind of, like, rules against that, so speak to an attorney first.
I don't think so.
Just
but yeah, no legal advice.
Yeah,
this is not any financial advice. So,
it's just my life, what I went through. And so I got under contract, and I went to college in Pittsburgh, which from where I am currently, it's about a 3.5-hour drive. And for about 3 weeks straight, I was driving back and forth from Harrisburg to Pittsburgh to give these investors showings on my parents' property.
And that's crazy. That drive's long.
Yeah, it's a long drive, but that's something I wanted to do, and I was like, we agreed upon this price. If I can sell it higher, then that's my money.
Right.
Which they understood, and they were perfectly okay with, because they had trouble finding a buyer. So we're going through this whole process. I actually ended up getting several offers on the property. Okay. So it went well, but we never ended up signing contract because my parents later on backed out, just because my stepdad then did get employment again, so they were able to try to catch up on the bills at least and get out of pre-foreclosure. Yeah. Along with a nice gift from my grandpa, who was able to bring us out of that situation. So.
Well, that's good.
Thank God for that, man. He's a great guy. And so I never got to wholesale that one, but that kind of just like sparked my interest. Like it was like, okay, so this is possible. Like that was money at the end of my fingertips per se. And it was just like I was so close. So I was like, if I can do it like that, like granted they are my parents, and it would be 10 times easier to build a relationship with them. Obviously, we already had one set in place versus a random stranger, which I know can be fearful for a lot of you who want to get into real estate. And for sure. Listen, as long as you are able to talk to anybody as though they're just a normal person, like your best friend and not really look at them from like a higher standpoint. Obviously, you want to have full respect for everybody, but I feel like just being able to get comfortable in those uncomfortable situations is a huge advantage.
Most definitely.
When trying to build rapport relationships with anybody. So I learned that and building rapport with the investors. Like I was still decently young. I was actually 17 when I went to college, just based on.
Well, with your age, I don't know if you can wholesale below 18 because you may need your parents' signature.
Right, exactly. So my stepdad was the one that signed.
Oh, he signed off?
Yeah, he signed off.
Okay.
So yeah, no, don't sign contracts under 18. You're not allowed.
Yeah, you need your parents for sure. We know that. We know that.
Yeah, but where was I at? I was
showing the buyers.
Yeah, I was showing the buyers, and that was uncomfortable for me because here comes these grown men. Where at the time I was a little skinny boy, I had no beard, long hair, I looked like an idiot, and just walking them around my own house, trying to give them like all the benefits of why you should buy this property. Yeah, not a damn clue of what I was doing. But it was a great experience, and it was nerve-wracking having to talk to them. But at the same time, after the first couple, I learned at the end of the day, like, these are just normal people, and they're trying to build as big of a relationship with me as I am with them. So that made it just 10 times easier, and that's something you always have to take in regards as well. So
and it got you like outside of your comfort zone to help you grow even more.
Yeah. So from there, like I said, that deal didn't work out. Later on down the road, while I was still in college, I got another property locked up under contract, and I wanted to do a kind of like a novation kind of thing. At the time, though, I was so young and new to this, I had no clue what a novation was. I didn't even know that was an option. Yeah. So my route that I was trying to go down was a wholesale on this property, where basically you were to purchase the property as a wholesaler at a discounted price with a capital lender, transactional funder, and basically just turn around, relist it on the market. He was giving me a good deal, and I figured I could sell it for a substantially higher price. At that time, though, I also didn't think of real estate commissions, closing costs on the front end, and really do all those calculations into this deal. So there was still a possibility that I could have made like $10,000 or so. But I really ran into the issue of trying to find that capital lender. At such a young age, you bring somebody a deal with kind of low margins, there's just no trust there whatsoever. It's just like, come on, kid, what are you doing?
And I mean, like, when you're a brand new investor and you have a so-called deal and you're bringing it to someone that, you met for the first time, they're going to be skeptical. They're not going to lend to you. They want to make sure, this person has referrals from other people. They want to make sure that you know what you're doing because you're risking their money. So they want to make sure,
they're able to get paid back no matter what.
Yeah, it's in the right hands. Their money's in the right hands.
Exactly. So, and I completely understand where they were coming from in that regard. So there was no hurt feelings there. So I let it go. I ended up getting a job, moving in with my girlfriend and everything. Kind of left real estate to the side for a little while, which in the back of my head, it was there the whole time. I was just like, I don't know why I'm slacking off. Like, I got a job, I got a girlfriend, I'm living with her, I'm getting too comfortable. So, like, that's kind of where I jumped back into real estate once again. So it's a love-hate relationship here. But, and I was just browsing the wonderful Zillow the one day, and I had ran into this single-family home in Middletown, where it was listed as a single family, but I realized that it could be converted to a 3-unit. Yeah. While we were there. Or not while we were there, but within the pictures, you could kind of see there was a separate building in the back, ADU, as some of you may know. And then downstairs was also set up as like an in-law suite. Right. Per se. So, single family home, really 3-unit possibilities. So that kind of really sparked my attention. I started watching Bigger Pockets at this point, and really starting to understand, like, the BRRRR method, keeping rental properties, the different kind of strategies that could go into that long-term, short-term, And so I was like, well, let me ask one of my good friends, a local realtor, Stefanie. And she so gratefully helped me out, and we did get a showing to go to that property. Yeah. And at the time, I didn't know how involved Stefanie was.
Wait, like, should I go in? Should I go in and then we merge the story?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So my background before I became a real estate agent, So my parents have that traditional mindset where, you know, you go to high school, go to college, and
Right.
so on.
And being their culture as well, as even more of a...
Right. So, like, people are so surprised because my dad's from Ethiopia. And typically, like, they have this thing where, like, you have to go to college. Like, they're super strict on that. But when, you know, I went to college, I actually went to Lock Haven University. I was there for 5 days. Literally, like, I was there for 5 days, and it just didn't feel right. And it wasn't, like, the friends part. Like, I was making friends. Everything was good with that. It's just when I went to those first day of classes, it just didn't feel right. Like, I just felt like there was something different.
Out of place.
Yeah, like God had in store for me something different. So I called up my mom. I was like, come pick me up, because it just didn't feel right. So she was like, you still have to go to college. So I went to HAC, a community college, and then I was there for a year and a half, but it still didn't feel right. You know, I was majoring first in it was biology pre-med, because I was going to be a doctor, even though I don't like blood. Like, I don't even like seeing blood. It gets me nauseous, but I was going for the money, because doctors make a lot of money. Orthopedic doctors do. So that's what I was going for. But then I changed my major to business. Then after that year and a half, that's when I dropped out. And man, that was the toughest conversation to have with my parents, but...
I can imagine.
Yeah, it was just eating me up alive, because I was going so long without, like, not telling them.
Yeah.
And then...
Was there ever a point in time where you just started skipping college?
I was. And I'm not, like, that kind of person.
I know you're not. But
Yeah.
that's, like, a general story of, like, people who know that they have something that they're passionate about.
Yeah.
And it doesn't involve college. A lot of times they'll just not tell their parents right away and start skipping school, which, if that's what you want to do and you're just going for your passion, by all means do it.
Yeah.
I don't know about your case, but I would recommend trying to tell your parents as soon as possible.
Yeah, no, like, I agree. So, like, I don't regret anything, but I was skipping class, and because it was like a history class. I'm over here sitting here just, like, falling asleep the whole time, where I'm like, I could be dog walking, making some money now.
Honestly.
So I would skip class to go dog walk to make some money, a little side hustle I had. But yeah, I told my parents I was dropping out, and
How'd that go?
that was tough.
Yeah.
So my mom was crying. My dad actually didn't take it too bad. So
I'm not too surprised about your dad.
He's more chill.
He's a really cool dude.
Laid back.
I love her dad. He's a great guy.
But my mom, she's not Ethiopian. She's actually from here. So they kind of were like opposites.
Yeah, you would think it would be the other way around.
Yeah, but it was completely opposite. So those 2 months of me, like, being out of college, that was, you know, pretty tough. I did tell them, like, I was gonna, you know, take the next step, get a job. I got a job at a warehouse working 7 days a week.
Yeah.
5 days a week full time at the warehouse, and then I was working as a caregiver at home instead on the weekends. So doing that as a part-time job. So I'm working 7 days a week, plus I also had drop shipping.
Yeah.
So I was doing that whenever I could, like whenever I came home and stuff. Just grinding. Yeah, I was in grind mode. I never thought. I was doing what it took. So I was like, there's no plan B. Like, this has to work.
Yeah.
And I was making money, so I was using the money I was making at the warehouse, and I was still living with my parents, so I didn't have any, like, bills or anything like that.
Were you using that towards dropshipping?
Right, towards dropshipping. Yeah. So I was doing, like, $75 a day ads on Facebook to help the dropshipping go up.
Yeah.
And then,
I
broke even. I mean, I didn't.
That's better than losing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who get into dropshipping end up losing a lot of money.
It can be a tough business, but it's fun. I love it.
Yeah.
But I stopped.
That's because you love marketing.
I love marketing, yeah.
Hence your social media following.
Yeah, marketing, it just doesn't feel like a job. So I really love marketing. But yeah, so that lasted probably close to 2 to 3 months. And now we're probably around like January, I want to say 2020 time.
Yeah.
And
right before pandemic.
And I actually was at the warehouse, and I had this thought come to my mind, like, I'm not gonna be here for a long time. Like at this job, it just didn't feel right.
How long were you there at this when you had this thought?
After that, I probably left like 2 weeks after.
She's committed. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
Stefanie does not play around.
When I have these thoughts or these gut feelings, like I act on it.
Yeah.
But the other thing too is like I have asthma, so like being at that warehouse, like the dust and everything, like it was affecting that too. So I was like, I gotta prioritize my health. And the other thing too, I don't know what it was that changed my mindset, but I had a mindset shift during that period. Because during that time, my mindset was like money, money, money. Like, I'm going to make so much money off of drop shipping, like a quick 6 figures. This is going to be easy.
Yeah.
And
you got into it, like, back then, that was decently early for drop shipping as well. Like, it wasn't this big, oversaturated thing. So, it would have been a good time for sure. But
most definitely.
All based off the products, right?
Well, yeah. And before, I don't think TikTok might have been around.
Well, no.
I don't know, because TikTok is, people are crushing it with dropshipping on TikTok now.
Yeah, that's what I've seen too.
But, yeah, so I had the money mindset, and then I had this, I had the work ethic, but it kind of like switched because I'm a Christian, as, you know, people know on social media, and God doesn't want us to have like this money mindset where we're just focused on money. He wants us to be focused on Him and His purpose for us, His will for us. And that's where that shift came, because I felt that drift between me and God. And I started diving deeper into the Word, and I actually stopped the dropshipping stuff. Although I loved it so much, I was like, this isn't worth it. And I stopped the dropshipping. I still do not do dropshipping till this day. Like, I don't
It's cut out.
Yeah, it's cut out my life.
We have fully focused our time on real estate.
That's right. That's right.
Well, so I can't say that. I focus as much time as I
You
can.
got a full-time job.
So yeah, I was going to get to that. But yeah, we get to the point where it was like the Middletown showing.
Oh, okay, yeah. So now we're at like, all right, so we're in January, and then I stopped the warehouse job, stopped drop shipping, and I'm still working as a caregiver. Then March happens, and that's when the pandemic happens. So that job kind of stopped. So literally I have no job. I'm like, what am I about to do? I don't have a college degree. I don't know like what my purpose is in life. And I low-key got depressed. Like, I was just in my room, didn't want to speak to like any family members. Like, it was just, I was so isolated during that time. Yeah. And it's like we had nowhere to go with the pandemic too. So it just
even harder.
Exactly. So during that time, I started diving deeper into the Word, so, you know, building my relationship with God. And then I had this like, you know, thought come to my head. I think I was scrolling on Zillow, like, just become a real estate agent.
Yeah. And
like when things happen, I act on it fast. Yeah.
So that day I was already halfway through the training course.
Yeah. So I don't know if it was that day or that night. Maybe sometime that week. Yeah, I got I told my mom and dad that I want to be a real estate agent. They're like, all right, I'll pay for it. That's like my college tuition since they paid for my sister's tuition. So I did that, took the course in 29 days, got my real estate license within like around 2 months or so, or a little over 2 months.
And what's the average time for a real estate license? Isn't it like 6 to 8 weeks?
It all depends.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like if you take it in person, it's gonna take longer. It may take 3 months.
I'd say 29 days seems pretty short to be able to get that done.
Oh yeah, for sure. I was on that thing like I was on that thing every single day. Like I was so disciplined. I took it as like school.
Yeah.
But yeah. So it took me like 2 months because of COVID. It took like the scheduling stuff and everything with that. But then I got my real estate license August 5th of 2020. And then, I'm not sure when, like...
I don't know the exact date either.
Like, we collided, but...
I could look it up at some point.
Yeah.
We'll throw it in the show notes.
But yeah, so I was actually at Century 21. I left Century 21, then I went to Berkshire Hathaway. I left Berkshire Hathaway, but shout out to them, because I actually love that brokerage. I just changed because of the benefits EXP has. But now I'm at EXP Realty, and I think during that time, that's when, you know, he reached out to me about a property he wanted to see, and, you know, we went to go see it, and when we were there, after we looked through the whole property, he was like, You're like, do you want to partner with me or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just flat out asked her because at this time, you already had a flip going on.
I think I did,
You had your Hummelstown flip coming on.
Yeah.
Which, that's kind of where it blew me away. I knew Stefanie had her real estate license, and I thought she was strictly working with an agent, and I had more of the mindset of, I want to be an investor.
Yeah.
Once again, TV, HGTV shows, Flip or Flop, all of them, loved them all. It was great, and that really sparked my interest with that. So that's where I got the mindset of investor. I did not realize Stefanie had kind of the same thing going on. So
wholesaling from even before college, because my mom took me to a real estate seminar out in by the Crown Plaza, or it was the Hilton.
Okay.
We were over there, and that's how I heard about wholesaling. But it was always in the back of my head, but I never acted on it.
Yeah. Until
like after I got my real estate license.
Right. Yeah, for me I was decently young actually when I started learning about wholesaling. It was through Max Maxwell.
Okay.
In the very beginning, and then it went over to Brent Daniels and basically all the bigger wholesale gurus.
Shout out to Brent Daniels, TTP.
I love him.
Yeah.
But so as we're there walking throughout the house, I'm just like, I'm still in my very beginning stages. I'm trying to act so professional in front of Stefanie, like I know what I'm doing. I had not a darn clue. And then so towards the very end of the walkthrough, I look at Stefanie. And I had recently just seen a post on her Instagram before we went to the showing, explaining how she has this flip going on in the Hummelstown area. And I was like, no way, like, she's doing that? Mm-hmm. So at the, somewhere in the middle of the end of the showing, I asked Stefanie, like, would you want to partner on this with me? And she was pretty intrigued. She was
Look, I said yes, but I didn't know what I was doing either.
Exactly.
But the thing is, during that time, I had contacts. So, like, I had real estate investors that I built relationships with. So, right after that, before I even called the agent to let them know or to see if they had any offers on it, I called up my friend Noah Starry to see, like, is this a deal? Because I honestly did not know. Like, I had trouble running my numbers. And we were on the phone for a little bit, and we were running through everything. Turns out it wasn't a deal. But he was kind of walking us through everything. But that kind of started...
Stefanie
buys houses.
Stefanie buys houses. So you created Stefanie buys houses before we partnered. Right?
Yeah.
So then, somewhere down the line after that is, I don't know if did we stay fully connected after that showing and start working from there, or did we have another disconnect?
No, so we stayed connected, and then we actually went to Good Brothers Cafe.
We did.
I was like, let's grab coffee so we could kind of like discuss everything.
I remember that.
There's a lot that goes into a partnership. When you guys are looking for partners, you don't want to just say, let's partner up, let's do this, and go right into it. You really want to break down like what are the roles,
what are the characteristics of each individual, what are your strong suits, and what are your weaknesses, like what are you good at versus what am I good at?
What's the pricing breakdown?
Right, just trying to fit things together, kind of like a puzzle piece.
Yeah.
So you are the best version of a partnership you can be.
Right.
Which, after talking for a little while, I don't know, we were there for half an hour to an hour. I think we come to realize pretty fast, like we had already built a relationship, going to school together, working our jobs together, having the same passion in real estate, and just based off of like what she was good at and what I thought I was good at that time, it kind of worked together. I mean, I didn't really know where I would fit in this partnership in the beginning. I pretty much just laid out my characteristics on the table, and Stefanie laid out hers, and it worked.
Yeah, and now it's like even like from day to day, like we still see like who's better at what. So like I feel like you're better with like the acquisitions, like with the sellers, talking to the sellers and stuff.
I mean,
I forget stuff.
I don't want to sound rude. Like, I agree though. Like I feel as though I'm really good
at building the rapport.
I've gotten really good. I shouldn't say I am really good, but I've gotten really good at building rapport with sellers. Kind of how in the beginning when I was talking about building those relationships with these strangers, and I kind of like it's just fun. Like, go out there and figure out who the hell these people are. Yeah. It's just a great time. And, like, you'll never know. Like, maybe somewhere down the line, like, you'll somehow know this person. Like, I've ran into a couple of those where it's like, oh, you know my grandma. And my grandma's, like, famous in Middletown for some reason. She just freaking knows everybody.
Yeah.
So that helped out with some of those deals down there. But, yeah, honestly, like, that's just, in the beginning, so my mom always told me I had, like, a blabbermouth, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
So, as a kid, I talked a lot. In school, I was a little more quiet, but, like, I had my tight-knit group of friends.
Yeah.
And in front of them, I'd just act like a damn clown all the time.
Yeah.
So it was really weird. Like, I didn't know how I would be in this kind of setting, just with strangers. So I was like, either I'm going to go to the quiet side, or I'm going to be an extrovert?
Extrovert? Because
Extrovert.
are you initially, like, do you classify as an introvert?
No. Actually.
Really?
So yes, it's, that's like the weird thing. So it's like, I've always been like this, where I can go out and I can just talk to people.
Yeah.
But like, when I think of myself, I think of it as like, I'm only going to talk to you if you talk to me. Like, if it's out in public. But then there's times where, like, I'll catch myself just having starting
just
conversations with random people.
Yeah.
And it's just like, so who really am I? Like, I don't know, honestly.
You feel like you're both?
I feel like I am both, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're more of an extrovert than an introvert.
I would have to say so. I do like having, like, my own peace and quiet and just being alone sometimes. You know, I'm sure many of us do, their personal time. But outside of that, I seriously do spend a majority of my day every day with at least one person, if not more.
Yeah.
Like, I'm never alone anymore these days, which it's a good thing and kind of bad. I don't mind. I like it. It's fun. So yeah, as Stefanie was saying, like that's something that I became good at further down the line. I figured out, and then Stefanie is really good at the day-to-day, like, business management of things, like knowing what parts we need to incorporate into the business to be more efficient and, you know, just put out the kind of numbers we're looking for. So
I appreciate it.
Of course, like, and she's very disciplined. She's a very disciplined person. Like, outside of real estate, she just does real estate. That's it.
Literally.
Yeah, God, family, real estate. That's Stefanie.
No, seriously. Well, health too. Like, I go to the gym.
She does go to the gym.
Yeah.
Which I need to start doing more. I've recently started going back again. I'm supposed to hit likes tonight. I'm not looking forward to it.
I know, yeah. Tonight's a late episode. We're trying
late.
Yeah. But I feel like that's a good start off to the first podcast.
Yeah.
Did we break everything down? I think so.
I mean, that's definitely our backgrounds. I don't know. We could go. I kind of want to, like, save a lot. Just kind of, like, leave.
Yeah, y'all gotta stay tuned. Go subscribe. If you guys are listening on, we'll probably have this on, like, Apple Music, Spotify,
YouTube, iTunes,
everywhere, right? So
platforms.
Make sure you guys go subscribe to stay tuned with the Investor Unite podcast, and we'll also leave our links down in the description so you can check out us on TikTok, YouTube. I have a YouTube channel, our Instagram pages, and stuff like that. But
which is I definitely need to start building up my social media. This is the start. This is the start. So
the start
thank you all for being here. It is, and it feels good. Honestly, at the beginning of this, I didn't know how I was gonna feel, but after,
and that's what I said, because I said, like, you do good with the Instagram Live, so it makes sense for us to do a podcast to help your brand.
It's weird. You threw the camera on, and all of a sudden I just turned into it. Whatever.
TikTok dances. I don't know.
I can't. Nope, not me. I do not dance. But yeah, so look forward to a very educational podcast along with an entertaining podcast. We're going to make sure we throw in some humor here and there. And we'll definitely have some guests coming on in the future. We already have a couple people lined up who are some of the bigger players in here. So I would stick around and learn as much as you can. Get out there, start investing.
Yeah.
We'll go through.
Wait, we're 22. We haven't even said our age. So we're young real estate investors.
We were
22.
born in 2000.
2000. So
I know a lot of you are going to cringe at that.
And the crazy thing is, this is only the beginning.
This is just the beginning. So we founded our LLC back in late June or early July. One of those.
Yeah, because we have another LLC because Stefanie Buys Houses is the marketing platform,
so
but we don't have to say the LLC.
I'm not going to go into it. Well, we can. Okay. So we got a lot of things going on. Stay tuned.
We got a lot of stuff. But go subscribe, like this episode, and we'll see you in the next one.
Smash that like button. Boom.